I'm Dr. Mike Milligan. I'm here with Dr. Mike Abernathy. We're at the Excellence in Dentistry meeting in Florida, Woody Oaks' meeting. If you haven't attended that, get on down and attend the next one. It's over spring break each year. But Mike, thanks so much for being with us here.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Now, you do practice transitions with Summit Management. You've even written a book. About a week ago it came out, is that right?
Yeah, it's what we did is we self-published the book and only published 10 copies, and we've given it to certain people that are influencers. And it really was one of these things because Summit's been around for 25 years. Some of our clients have grown with us. And I, at 40, decided that I needed to remove some equity in my practice. In other words, equity harvest. And by selling, I'd had 13 associates, and they'd last an average of 12 to 15 years, 15 months, something like that. And it wasn't working. I didn't like the people, like this spinning door. So I started doing partners. Now, my staff actually made the final decision on the partners, but we started doing partners, and I ended up with 3 or 4 partners in my practice. And so doing that, I learned a lot about transitions. Now, at the same time, I had other doctors working with associates, getting older, and now that I'm in my 60s, I just had more people asking me questions about it. And so I come from 7 generations of attorneys. And so, brothers, dads, my daughters, everybody's an attorney in my family. And so I didn't find anybody that really knew the psychology or the philosophy behind taking equity out of your practice and creating these income sources in the process and still having 100% control of the practice for as long as you want to practice. So you really have about 3 groups. I have younger doctors. We have one doctor that I just sold a practice to. He's only been in practice for a year, doing over $1 million a year. He's bringing in his first partner. Because the strategy works best, the sooner you do it, because you don't need the money. Let's say you're carrying the note at 8%. It goes into an account that you can get at least 5 or 6% on. So now you're getting 13% on your money. And you just do this over and over again. It works the same for adding satellite offices. It works good for doctors in his 50s who's going to over 5 to 10 years to transition out. And it even works sometimes for the final exit strategy where we walk away. So I wrote the book and I started writing, and it was frustrating because I know what I want to say, I'm just not a writer. And so I started writing, and the bad thing is I hit a footer or header button, and I was trying to fix it, and the first 70 pages disappeared. I had to retype them. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. So I did it, and so the book is written so that a general practice could look at, okay, well, what are the timing issues? What should it look like from a practice management standpoint? What should it look like from a benchmark standpoint? How do I find somebody? Where do I look? What type of letters? What type of emails? Where do I go? It has everything, including all the contracts. All of the contracts being walk-away sale contracts, stock transfer, regular sales. It's got everything, but it's 500 pages long. Now it comes in a box, not just with the book, but with CDs, DVDs, ancillary materials, so that you could walk out and basically do this yourself. Now I would recommend, if you're doing it outside the state of Texas, that you take an attorney there to review the contract, so it's specific for your state. But if you were to go out and just hire a broker, and when I say a broker, these guys are like real estate agents. You pay them 10% of what you're selling.
Wow. Okay.
You sell $1 million practice, that's $100,000.
That's right.
Okay. 10%, and they list you in a state dental journal. Give me a break. Anybody could do that. Okay. You go to people that have, and I won't name their names, but people who specialize, dental specialty guys that do money under management. Okay, we all know who we're talking about. Now, they charge 10% too. What they don't tell you is that they have set up all the financing for you. They're so nice. They use our banks. Well, they get 3% marketing kickback on that. Okay, let me tell you that. Now, there's always a buy-sell agreement in a partnership or a corporation like that, where you have life insurance, you have disability insurance to fund the untimely death or disability of your partner. They get 50% of all the commissions on these products. They're not real transparent. You can do all this yourself, and it's pretty cookbook. And again, I've done hundreds and hundreds of these. We use these very contracts they've been challenged. I mean, you know, everything, and it's pretty refined down. And granted.
So you've got the book, but now we can also use you for this service to help us through that?
Yeah, included in the box is a certain number of consulting hours to help you do that. And again, oftentimes it's kind of nice, even long distance, to get a young doctor and the senior doctor and me act as a moderator.
Sure.
Because the contracts are written to be to protect the senior doctor, but to be a very fair and equitable settlement of this sale. Okay. Everything from the appraisals to everything can be done there. And so oftentimes it helps someone who's done it over and over again to explain to the young doctor, because I start practice for young doctors, I know their concerns.
You bet.
And we have a chapter about just that, about their concerns. Because you have to understand where they're coming from, how they look at it, how millennials, people that are born in these, how they look at everything. You know, and so when I'm talking to them, I know what they're looking for, I know what the senior doctor's looking for, and I can kind of meld that together. And it just makes it so much easier. And I guarantee you, if you try to do this on your own, and then tell the attorney, well, we want you to drop a contract. Don't ever go to an attorney. And don't go to my family. Okay, my attorney, anybody, and say, just draw this contract. Yeah. You need to decide what you want in the contract, what the points are going to be, everything laid out, and you say, put this in legalese. Yeah. Because if you don't, you're going to churn, it might cost you $12,000, $15,000 just for the contracts.
Wow. Okay. And you just now, how do we get access to this book?
Well, I mean, you could
made 10 copies.
Well, no, I mean, we were waiting on the foreword and stuff, and because of this Orlando Woody Oaks meeting, I want to make sure Woody had one and a couple of other people that are big hitters.
So it's going to be available very soon.
It'll be available next week.
Next week.
Okay, so I mean, I mean, it's already been proofed, it's already been gone over. It's just, I was waiting on Woody to finish the foreword, and then before we printed a bunch of them. But the books are expensive. Okay, it's not like a book. It is an entire roadmap with a whole box. It's $1,900.
$1,900.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
expensive compared to what?
Well, I mean, you consider this. I mean, if you had a consultant come into your practice, it's about maybe $2,000 for a day.
Exactly.
Okay. You get me for a certain number of hours, plus all the stuff, and you don't have to pay commissions. And there's even things about finance and what to do with the money after you get it, so that you have it forever. I mean, so
it's not expensive at all. It's a value, just incredible value. Is what it really is.
But you know, when people say a book, $1,900. I mean, well, this is a little bit. I mean, the CDs you'll be able to drop out the contracts and print them, put your name in them, and stuff like that. So
$1,900 to learn how to practice, to transition your practice, and have consulting with that, and all the documents.
Well, I've just seen too many people get burned, or they weren't happy with it when they have an acquisitions and mergers company who's representing both parties and don't care about the patients, don't care about the staff, don't care about,
or don't really aren't in that business and understand it like you do, having been all through the business and everything, Mike. And being a dentist who's started from scratch, and
I'm still scratching. And I'm still scratching.
Others are still scratching. But you really need to get with Mike Abernathy and understand some of the things that he's doing, the consulting, the practice transition. Phenomenal speaker. If you can ever hear him go speak at one of the meetings. Mike, thanks so much for being with us.
I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay.